we made a wrong turn, and the kids in this movie are too young, I think.
Yeah, fair. We've made a wrong turn. This is a slightly inappropriate movie. This is the Wrong Turn podcast. Hey, Courtney, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. All right, this is going to be our first, I think, big hitter. No, we did a Blair Witch Project. That was a pretty big one. We've been trying to stay mid-range, so I've been a little bit like,
I feel like I had to kind of convince you of this one, so thank you. But I'm excited for this one today.
Yeah, I've been trying to find our niche, and like I think if we do like movies that are cult classics but not so great, but this one has a different level of cult following. This one's like it's living in infamy. And for those people who don't know, we are doing 1983's summer slasher hit Sleepaway Camp.
Sleepaway Camp, right around the time of the Friday the 13th extravaganza.
This was right in the coattails of Friday the 13th and Halloween, POV slasher, summertime camp slasher. I actually want to see if I can find another summertime slasher. I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure we can. And it is summer. Happy summer, everybody.
This is going to be coming out probably, in the middle of summer. So happy summer and happy Pride Month, even though this is going to come out after. We're recording this during Pride Month, but this will come out
Pride
afterwards.
Month. Pride, 12 months of the year, but as we know, June is the month.
Yeah, kind of on topic, kind of on brand for.
Yeah, this movie definitely has a lot of queerness, which is great.
Yeah, a lot of queerness, a lot of
like the queer subtext.
That's where it's found its cult status.
Yes,
it's a fucking bonkers movie on paper.
It's weird.
Have you seen this movie before?
No.
So this is your first foray into Sleepaway Camp.
Correct. But the reason why I really was kind of asking you, being like, Edgar, can we do Sleepaway Camp? Can we do? Because I watched it after that clip was going around in the little horror community on Instagram and TikTok. And it was the little short clip, you sent it to me. And it's where it's like the eat shit and die.
We're going to get to it. It's the boys. It's all
They're
the boys.
They're having their baseball game. It's all the boys, man. But you sent me that clip and I just was like, that is so funny. That is one of the best comebacks ever. Sleepaway Camp, why haven't I watched it? This is right up in the alley of everything that I love. Went for horror. And dude, I watched it and I've seen it probably 15 times at this point. And I'm like, I love this. This is weird. This is a horror movie for Courtney.
Come on, Billy, be a hitter, Bill. Come on, Bill. Right, Bill.
No problem, Gino. This guy blows dead dogs. Just lay it in there.
Eat shit and die, Ricky.
Eat shit and live, Bill.
Yeah, Billy.
And basically, Ricky kicks their ass playing baseball. But
he
starts off with, first of all, everybody forgets that line that he starts off with. He says,
yeah, there's so many.
There's so many good lines. And
there's so many insults in this movie.
Let's not bury the lead here. Courtney really is just about all the eye candy and all about the crotch shots and the little. There's nothing left to the imagination in this fucking movie.
But that is very true. Oh, my hunkometer was going crazy, but only for the ones that I knew were of age. But of age ones. When I say there are some where I'm like, how old is that kid? I'm like, get out of here. What
25-year-old men playing fucking 18-year-olds.
I know. It's you're 13. Go away. That guy might be 40. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that rhymed. And what was it? Ricky starts off with the line, one of the big kids comes up to bat and he says, this guy blows dead dogs, which I've never in my life have heard such a fucking great fucking insult.
This guy blows dead dogs is so good.
Which we got to give it to Robert Hiltzik, the director of this movie. He wrote some great fucking liners in this fucking movie.
Dude, the insults coming out of these kids' mouths. I was there. I was that kid. I was that kid at camp.
So good. 100%. I mean, yeah, kids say the most awful things to each other. They know no consequences yet, of course.
No, exactly. You're out there being like, yeah, cocksucker, anything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all right. So, 1983, Robert Hiltzik directed and wrote this little cult classic. He started out with $50,000. He filmed it in a camp in the wintertime that he actually intended in upstate New York when he was a child. So it was easy to get the location for the filming. It has a bananas twist. And I feel like...
Sure does.
I feel like it gets, I don't know, I want to say miscategorized, but like it's weird though, because I feel like our main protagonist, Angela, I mean, spoiler alert, right? Like
we might as well. This is a 1983 movie, and also that end scene. I think more people have seen memes of that than they know.
Oh, probably, and like I feel like Angela isn't the fucking villain of this fucking movie.
No.
So like
she's
the weird that,
whatever, bullied.
The weird thing that they say it's like homophobic and transphobic, and I'm like, but she's the hero technically. Like these people are fucking awful. I mean, obviously she kills people.
Terrorizing her.
Yeah, you know, she's an anti-hero or whatever, fuck, or you know, getting her revenge or whatever, fuck. But like thing, and we can't not talk about this movie without talking about like the transphobic and homophobic themes and whatever.
Oh, of course.
But like, I don't feel like we later find out that her dad, you know, had a gay lover, and I'm just like, but I don't know. It was done thoughtfully. It wasn't like.
I agree with you.
It didn't make Angela a fucking villain. It didn't fucking. I mean, Angela's fucked up, but like, it didn't make Angela like it wasn't an unhealthy household. Yeah.
Like, I think you would be fucked up with what you're battling, like what Angela's battling internally, and then also being bullied relentlessly for basically no reason. Just she's quiet.
Yeah, she got pushed too far.
Yeah.
But then there's also the themes where, all right, we later find out that, like I said, we can't talk about this movie without talking about these big fucking things in this movie.
It's heavy. Like, you guys, there are heavy shit in this movie. There's heavy shit.
Yeah. All right. So as we do, we'll go through the movie in the background for reference. The movie does start out with a nice little note to Robert Hiltzick's mother, where he actually got the rest of this money for. He made this movie on a budget of $100,000, excuse me.
And well done.
And that's where he got the other $300,000 after his mom had passed. So the dedication goes to her, rightfully so, because without her, this movie had never gotten fucking made. We do have our list of characters here, where we have Felissa Rose playing Angela, Jonathan Tierson playing Ricky, her cousin, Karen Fields playing Judy, Paul D'Angelo playing Ronnie, the fucking Italian stallion camp counselor.
God, that guy.
And Catherine Cammie playing Meg, and Mike Kellen playing Mel. Fun fact, this was Mel Kellen's last movie. This is Mike Kellen's
I did read that.
last movie, as he
was sick. Like, I guess pretty sick filming this. And
with
then
lung
died
cancer.
Before it came out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the weird fact, one of the cooks is James Earl Jones' father.
That's interesting.
And I'll point him out to you when he pops by. We do get a little nice B-roll.
Not the main evil cook.
No,
I mean, they're all kind of evil.
That would be weird. It's the other head chef after him. Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, if you listen to the voice,
I know who you mean. I think
it's the only other big cook.
Yeah.
He sounds exactly like James Earl Jones. He's the guy that's just like, when the cook is just like saying all those gross things, the other guy's just like, well, I guess, you know, like, no, not well. No.
the mean cook is being rapey as fuck, and the other guy's like, well, okay. And then
you. No, not you.
No, exactly. No. Children. Gross.
Yeah. And the only other big name was this guy named Christopher Collette, who plays Paul, Ricky's friend, who had a little bit of a, child acting career. He was in a bunch of stuff in the 80s and early 90s. So, I think this might have been his first role. But yeah. So then we have some B-roll of Camp Arawak in upstate New York. If you're ever wondering, like, where this takes place, all you got to do is just listen to the accents. They are...
It's heavy. It's a heavy New York accent, and I love a New York accent.
Yeah, it's
really
actually pretty good.
It's dope. I know you live there. Like,
I mean, this is a whole other thing altogether. Like, I don't even think, like, these people are characters themselves. Yeah.
Yes.
So we see us at a for sale sign at Camp Arawak. Obviously, something had gone wrong here because it is no longer an active park. I mean, I feel like I'm fucking talking like Trump for a second. Give me one. Sorry. Every time I repeat things.
No, you're right, because it was the B-roll. Like it was fall, everything's boarded up, and then it goes right into like everything's green and lush, and we're back at summer camp. Mm-hmm. Summer's starting.
They actually.
But what went down here? Let's find out.
They spray painted a lot of the grass to make it look lush because they were shooting this in the fall in the off season. Yeah. All right.
Just kill the grass even more.
Yeah. Yeah. That camp is no longer around. I think shortly after this, the camp was torn down and they built some condos.
Yeah.
Yeah. We start out with a nice flashback shot of the Camp Arawak. I'm pretty sure this is Camp Arawak, like before. Because it is a camp, we have a lifeguard. It's not really specified. There's a speedboat and a skier, and we got two kids and a dad. And here are our main protagonists, Angela, Peter, and the dad, which I don't think they really point out what the dad's name is until now.
I think it's like Mike or something. It's like
it's something
like
generic.
Really basic. Yeah. I think they do say it, or John.
Yeah, John. It's like a little mini, like, one-person sailboat. They're all just kind of sunbathing. The kids are being, playful. They throw their dad into the water. The little skiff tips over, and then all of a sudden, we hear a gentleman from the coast just being like, hey, hurry up, come inside because the dock is here. We're not really told who the dock is. And I feel like a lot of these things aren't really specified throughout this movie. I think later you can put it together. Like the doc is their aunt. John, that is his name. Okay. John, we got to go meet the doc at 4:30.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure that's referring to their aunt that they end up living with.
Yes.
And while this is happening, the lifeguard lets a camper take over the speedboat because he was worried about his job 1 minute. Then he's just like, okay, you take over.
Yeah.
And then
you're hot. You drive.
Yeah, I guess. And then the skier's freaking out the entire time, giving it her all.
Oh, bless her heart. She did great.
It's like the only reason she's still skiing is because of like she's holding on to that bar for fear fright. Other than that, like anybody else would have let go.
And the director told her, "You cry."
Oh man,
cry. You just cry the whole time, and she did it.
She did it. So then they find out. Then they, not paying attention to where they're driving, they run over that unsuspecting family. Exit stage right, John, and then the skier crying to the fucking camera for like a good minute.
Yeah,
just like you ran over their family. You ran over their family.
I know. She's like, help them. You have to help them. Someone please help them. Like that's a full. Close to a minute of her just going at it, and then like a really fun floating dead body, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, and then we get a life vest because we see that one of the kids was wearing a life vest, and then we know that we see one kid from the back shot. Who could it be? And we're led to believe that it was Angela who survived.
Right.
And then we cut to the fucking most bonkers. One of the most. Let's starting off with that was fine. Cold open, somebody dies, tragic background, no problem.
Tragic.
Now we
meet this lady.
Oh yeah.
This bonkers fucking aunt or Ricky's mom.
Desiree Gould playing Aunt Martha, giving it her fucking weirdest performance.
Dr. Martha, which is why the assumption is like you said before, that they were like, trying to make it all make sense in a way.
Yeah, like was that the doc that was coming to the lake? I mean, we can only assume. We're not. I am just assuming, really told. Yeah.
You're never told. Yeah.
Yeah. Not fun fact, but strangely enough, Desiree Gould, who plays Martha, passed away in 2021. R.I.P. She gave a great performance, and
oh my god, she's incredible. She's so wacky.
So fucking wacky. Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, she's like she talks to herself and with people in the room, and just answers her own questions. Which I'm like, yeah, okay, I guess I sort of do that.
But if you're, I don't know if you're familiar with Drag Race at all. I know you know some of it, but like, I don't think there's ever been any drag queen like has done her specifically. But seeing this movie, I was able to relate many performances. I was like, that's where they got this from. Like, with this being a queer movie for what it is, I'm like, this all makes sense now. Like,
and I don't know if it was just like, all right, well, let's go back to where before I get there. Yeah, like some people think that she was originally playing a drag person. Like people go off the rails with the theories in this movie, which I'm like, I feel like they read too much into it. Like, no, she's the aunt. She's not their dad or anything like that.
No. Yeah, like that's not a drag performer. It's not. But yeah. I'm just speaking of like watching drag performers now, and I would be like, oh, I see where they got inspiration for a certain character. Is what I meant. Yeah.
No, that I understand. But I was listening to other.
Oh, got you.
To other people talk about this and like the queerness of it, and be like, wait, was she like reading to it?
No.
Read into it?
Yeah. Correct. You are correct. She's just the aunt. Like there isn't anything going on there.
She's very unhinged, and she's the reason why things happen. Mm-hmm. But then they were like, was John and Larry's relationship, was Larry her husband, which we don't really know. People like to put that stuff together.
I read that too. That like, her ex is actually the dad and dad's new boyfriend. Like I heard that one too. But again, there's no, you can't make that correlation. No, there's nothing. But it's weird though, because like I said, the director, is he trying to like, is it a homophobic movie with this like character's tragic fucking past? But then he gave it like a sincere. It's very thoughtful. Yeah, except for all the creepiness, but like there's a lot of creepiness because let's remind you, this is a horror movie. This is a slasher. But there is a lot of gentleness to it in a way. So I don't get the homophobic. I can see the argument, but I don't feel it. Yeah, like if he was trying, he failed and succeeded somewhere else completely. Exactly. So then we cut to Ricky and Angela are going to Camp Arawak, and then we get an introduction of the campers running like fucking maniacs, and we get our first look at Ronnie in the shortest shorts you've ever fucking seen on a man. Yes. And Mel smoking a cigar. Mike Kellen did not get to see the premiere of this movie. He died, like I said, but he actually died right before this movie premiered. Oh, bummer. Yeah. And then we could see like Angela's a little bit like distant-eyed. When they were casting for Ricky, Robert Hitzig just had kids just scream as many profanities as possible, and he won. This kid won. I love that story. That's really, really good. Yeah. So then we got Angela and Ricky coming down the hill, and then Paul runs into him as his best bud, and he introduces Ricky to Angela, and we get. These are some of. Also, it's the 80s. We get a lot of underage profanity, a lot of underage over sexuality, and I guess that's it. And these kids are super fucking horny. Of course they are. Yeah, but I think it is important, and I know we said this before, to remember that this is 1983 and this movie is made in its time. So let's remember that this was its time. Yeah, exactly. And
Paul can't help but tell Ricky that Judy has grown up over the summer, over the years.
She's grown up. She got titties.
And exactly. She's got big old yabos, apparently.
Yabos. And Judy is our mean girl.
Her first mean girl, yeah.
Our first one. She's the main mean girl. There are a few, but she's like lead mean girl. She's Regina George.
And Ricky was telling Angela, like, yeah, me and Judy used to hang out last summer, you know?
Yeah.
We see Judy hanging out.
Yeah, they used to like go out or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, for as much as you can for like 5 weeks at a summer camp or whatever.
Exactly. I mean, I never did a full-blown like 5-6 week summer camp like that, but I did like a couple weeks. And of course, those little romances happened, and then you'd leave and you never thought about that person ever again.
No, I was, I did 1 month, like, an pre-college art camp, which was fun, but it was at a campus. You know, you got to live there. That was good.
And did you fall in love that summer and then forget about them forever?
No, I would say fall in love, no, but like definitely try to like have fun. But actually, we remained good friends with some of them.
Oh,
like
nice.
One of those guys I still talk to. And it's actually weird. We've all ended up living in the same cities at the same time. So he actually moved here too this year.
Oh, to LA?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
cool.
It's weird. Yeah. But anyway, when I was living in New York, he was living in New York. And when I was living in San Francisco, he was living in San Francisco.
They're following
weird.
each other.
Yeah, it's actually weird because we actually look a lot alike too. So then Ricky tries to holler at Judy. Oh, I missed this part. Right? Ricky tries to holler at Judy, and Judy's like surrounded by a bunch of fucking
dudes.
Men playing 18-year-olds. I'm just like, all right. Apparently she likes.
Yeah, these are the full-grown men. Like I said before, I'm like, we have 13-year-olds and we have full-grown 40-year-olds. There's no in between.
Yeah. And then Judy doesn't want to pay Ricky any mind. She goes to her cabin where she runs into Angela, and Angela's already given the creepy stink eye. And I get it. You're in a new location. You don't really know what to do. I was also kind of the quiet kid, and like just didn't want to talk to people just because I didn't want to talk to people, and not because
I get it.
You're intimidated, you know?
It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot to take in. So Mel is her camp counselor, and Mel, from the beginning, if you just look in the background, you could sort of see she's already given Meg. I'm sorry. Meg is already giving Mel like fucking hugs and shit, which comes to play later, which
weird.
Yeah,
whatever.
Weird. And then she, the Italian stallion, she calls over the Italian stallion, and they take over Angela to the kitchen because it's day 3. People forget about this part. It's day 3, and Angela hasn't eaten anything, which is a little bit weird,
Yes,
which is, I get it, not talking to everybody. Yeah, it's super concerning. You don't want your camper to pass out,
Exactly. Like, we can't understand that you might be homesick. I feel like it's a very natural thing to happen, but you got to eat.
And Ronnie's the most genuine out of all the camp counselors.
I do like Ronnie, and then I also really like Ricky.
Ronnie's muscles.
I like Ronnie's muscles. But I also really like Ricky, the young kid, too, because he's got a big mouth. I love that. And he also is genuine. Like, he cares about his cousin.
Ricky's a real one, 100%.
Ricky's a real one.
Yeah, ride or die for his family, 100%.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Ronnie is so hairy, but that's okay.
You don't like a little mullet?
No, I do, but I was like, whatever he has, we talk about these outfits. Oh man, his crop top every second. It's like, oh wow, okay,
dude,
love it. I think I want to see more of that, Edgar. I would really love to see some tiny jean shorts and a crop top on you.
I mean, some more short shorts are coming. I mean, jogging shorts are coming back. Especially for workout stuff. But that's pretty much it.
I'm here for the look. I'm here for that look.
Well, we were introduced to our first creepy fucking guy, the cook.
Oh,
as Ronnie mistakenly leaves Angela with the cook, and this is the cook that in the other scene was basically like looking at all the kids run into the camp, and he calling the young girls, the preteens, fucking baldies, which is a horrific fucking term.
Oh, I know. His death wasn't as brutal as I wanted it to be.
Oh, well, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So,
it doesn't.
Yeah, this character doesn't really need us to distinguish. We already know who the cook is. Takes her to the back. storage room and asks her is there anything she'd like to see or like to have, and he starts to unbuckle his belt, and a little bit of light sexual assault. Ricky walks into the back, and he's like, hey, what's going on back here? And then the fucking cook basically attacks Ricky, telling him to get the fuck out of here. And Mel comes across the whole scene as the cook is buckling his fucking pants, and Mel just kind of just shies away. He's just like, yeah. Oh, okay.
I know Mel, the worst owner ever, as we know, was just like, well, yeah, whatever, it happens. Accidents. Like,
because the only thing on fucking Mel's mind is fucking the bottom dollar.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to close his camp.
Yeah, he doesn't want to close the camp. So we see the cook actually drinking a Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. Please sponsor us. And as he's cooking a comical amount of water. That is like, I don't know, a
How
20.
much pasta? Like,
he's trying to do corn, and I get it. You're cooking fucking food for like 150 kids or something like that.
True, and they are that big, but they truly do get that big. But it is comical if you're not used to seeing it.
It's like a 20-gallon drum or something like of a pot of fucking water.
Do you remember that giant one that we saw at like the kitchen store and that we really loved?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because we wanted to like make jokes to be like, we can cook a lot of things in there.
There's a lot of guacamole.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah. And then we get our first POV of the killer coming into the kitchen, and it's like, and I'm like, dude, you're not even cooking that much food for all these kids. Like, these kids need a lot more fucking food.
You've got a lot of kids here. They need to eat more than that.
That's a crazy task to cook that much food 3 times a day for that many kids.
It is.
Yeah.
I
Shout
think
out
about
to cooks.
Shout out to cooks, and I also think about like parents that have like 4 kids. That's a lot. That's a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah, fair enough. That's why pasta's just on the menu.
Exactly. You're like, I'm gonna boil a couple things of spaghetti, and then you're on your own. Go.
So the cook comes back in. He's got a little bit of salt. He's like, "Ah, girl, get in that pot to boil over real nice.
Boil up, get the show."
And he's got to get on a chair because this is, like I said, a comically large pot of water. And then the killer sneaks up behind him, much like when the kids were playing on the skiff, pushes them over into the pot. But he's holding on, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because he could just like step down from the chair.
Like, this isn't like it really is not like the big life or death situation that they're making it. But we don't like this guy, so you're just kind of like here for like, how is this going to go down? Yeah. And for 2 minutes, I want to say, or for a scene that looks like it's going on too long, the cook is on the floor in writhing agony as he fell over with the pot of water, and it spilled all over him, giving him what looks to appear to be 3-degree burns. And he just keeps fucking yelling, keeps screaming,
yelling.
Which it would be very painful.
Yeah. Even after he is wrapped up and like put onto a gurney and taken out, he's still like yelling a fucking storm.
I mean, you're giving this actor some, I guess, good screen time to scream. Because whatever. I like when he's bandaged up with his arms in the air and still screaming. Yeah. I mean, it was a fate deserved. Like, yes. Sometimes he deserves worse, but whatever. Yeah, maybe. But he's gonna live his life in fucking agony, probably, and scarred. And then they hint to the fact that he might be blind due to all the hot water, and that his eyes might not recover. So fair enough. Okay. And then Mel in his first, act of bad camp owner, second, I guess, he decides to glaze over this, and he's just like, I'm just going to pay off the cooks. Everybody gets a little bit more money. We keep this under wraps, you know what I'm saying? And the head cook he's talking to is James Earl Jones' father, basically the biggest man on the biggest man. Yeah. He's just like, okay. The voices are identical, spot on. I'll have to go. I'm sure you are correct, but I'll have to like make sure I'm paying attention because I'm gonna watch this movie again. I do enjoy it. I like it. Yeah, it's pretty good. Like it's like I said, it kind of holds up. Even like it's still fun to watch. It really is, regardless of all the weird pedophilia that happens in this movie. Yeah, that's the only part that I guess is unsettling, and I had to like be like reminding myself because it's not till later when we get to the part where Angela's like having like the flashbacks where I was like, oh, this is like a different movie, even though we were led into believing that it's a 90s slasher. Friday the 13th style.
I can't really like think of like, I couldn't find a whole lot of interviews with Robert Hitchcock as like why he wrote it the way he wrote it. Like other than like, I'm just going to make it a real twist, you know? Like,
right. Also, I've never, and I haven't touched on to any of the sequels. I don't know about you, which I will probably, now that we've done this, I'll probably maybe watch the other ones just to see, like, what did they do? Like, how did they carry on?
All right. I have seen the sequels.
Okay.
And all right. So fun fact, when I went to go, every time I went to go check out this movie from the theater from Blockbuster, it was actually never available. I don't know if they didn't have it because of the content and it being the mid 90s or late 90s. They thought of it might be questionable, but part 2 and 3 were always available. And I rented part 2 maybe a dozen times or half a dozen times because I kept forgetting I had watched it. And it had a really, really fucking cool cover with a camper.
Yes.
Where having a book bag and having Freddy's knife, glove, and Jason's mask and carrying an axe, I think, or something like that. And I was just like, oh, I got to check this fucking movie out. It's got everything in it, basically trying to tell you that it had everything. And
yeah,
those movies are not what this is altogether. They do carry the story of Angela, and Angela has since gone full transition. It was Felissa Rose did audition for the roles, but they gave it to, fun fact, Bruce Springsteen's sister, who plays Angela, and I think in both sequels, and with the final girl played by, fun fact, Charlie Sheen's sister, Renee Estevez.
Interesting. Oh my god, I have to watch these. I obviously have to watch part 2 and 3. Like, whoa.
Well, part 2 for sure. Part 2 is kind of fun, but where this one has like the queer undertones and kind of like Angela is our heroine, the other ones go completely 180.
Okay.
Super,
I'll check them out.
Super heterosexual, titties every other shot. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Because that is a solid thing that I do like about horror movies. Like, it's a reason why I've kind of like the Wrong Turn franchise so much. Like, it's stupid horny where you're like, what's the point of this? But with Sleepaway Camp, I enjoy like the queer undertones and the fact that they didn't throw titties in our face. We're getting dudes.
No. You're getting so many more dudes in the like, you get nothing in the other one. The other one, I mean, not nothing, but like you
speaking of which, like this classic like joking around, boys joking around, we're gonna put a butt in his face. Like,
there is
a bare ass.
There's so many boob. I recently watched it. I was like, because I've seen it before. It's like, I haven't seen it in a while. I haven't seen it since like I was in middle school. I got to check out part 2 again now that we talked about this one. And I was just like, holy crap! I do not remember this many boob shots. I think I would have watched it a lot more if I'd remembered.
Fair. You're like, wait a second, what?
No, it was like, it's like a comical amount of boob shots, like literally like every other scene.
See, you know, you have to be graceful with the titties. Like, they're welcomed, but sometimes you can be too much.
Yeah. It's mostly, I think, just one actress. I don't think I've seen part 3 either. I can't remember. But talking about the sequels, see, Robert Hiltzik was a little bit before his time. He was before his time with this one, and then he decided to come back to filmmaking in 2007, 2008, where he did a return to Sleepaway Camp, which he calls a direct sequel to Sleepaway Camp Part 1, and disregards 2 and 3, not having anything to do with the canon, which is weird, though, because that means he would have done it, I think, he would have done it before anybody else started doing, like, direct sequels to Part 1. Damn, Robert Hiltzik has, like, a weird, I don't know, finger on something, you know?
I like it.
Fun.
I dig
All right,
it.
so he did write outlines, I think, for part 2 and 3, and he sold the rights to a different director. But like I said, the director went a completely different direction with it, and Robert didn't want to have anything to do with those 2 sequels. Hence why he did his directed sequel in 2008. And he actually brings back almost all the characters that survive in this one. In part 1. So we do get to see Ronnie, what he looks like 20, 30 years later. We do get to see Felissa Rose. We get to see Ricky and whatnot.
Ricky.
Yeah. And I can't find it.
Dang, man. So I'm just going to go up to see if we can find, because that sounds really good.
I mean, you could buy it, but
yeah,
I don't know if I want to spend $30 right now.
Agreed. I'm like,
maybe.
I do.
There's some
I'm
hardcore fans, yeah.
It's not like me and Demon Knight, where I'm a hardcore Demon Knight girl forever.
Oh, I'm sure you can find a nice collector's box.
I would love. I have it. I own it. I'm totally out. If anyone wants to shoot me a collector's items of Demon Knight, I am down. And Sleepaway Camp, because I fucking love this movie.
Yeah, I think that's it for the sequels. And I think there was another sequel. There was technically a part 4, but they never finished it, I think. But yeah. Also, I forgot to mention, anybody can watch this movie on YouTube right now. The whole thing is up.
Oh, Sleepaway Camp is?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, it's also on Tubi, but YouTube's dope too. So. Yeah.
You're both going to get ads on both of them now. So.
Yeah. Because even on YouTube, you get the ads now.
So exit stage right, Artie, the pedophile cook, and we cut to our boys' bunk, and they're trying to do a sort of mind over matter thing with this boy named Mozart, trying to tell Mozart that he can't do a single sit up because
this is what I was saying about the butt thing.
But I'm like, that's a young butt though. That's
that is a kid butt. I don't want to see that. But true. I don't want to say that stupid thing, boys will be boys, but there is like them joking around with each other like that. That's, I feel like, a very normal thing.
Oh yeah. And butt to the face, not the worst thing that boys have done.
Correct.
Much worse. The stories I've heard.
I've heard things. Again, I'm not a man, so I don't know that life, but I've heard.
And then we get our first cut-off shirt walk into the room as Gino, the camp counselor, be like, "Hey, what are you boys doing?"
Okay, huh? Gino is the hot one. Gino's the hot one.
This guy.
They're both sexy, but Gino's the one with this. He's got the hairy belly. His crop top's so short.
It's so short. Gino's one step away from fucking he's one Italian sub away from a fucking paunch. He is not fit at all.
I don't know. I like it. It's so cute.
All right. So then we cut to the baseball game, and like we said, there's amazing lies in this fucking thing.
These guys back and forth. Especially Ricky, though. Ricky's top dog. He's so fucking funny.
Dude, a lot of real short shorts really hugging the crotch there. I'm just like...
They do not skip the hunks in this movie. Again, the of age ones. There's a lot of kids.
you're like, it's got this thing distinguished real quick.
There's a lot of kids. I just want everyone to know. Look, over 18.
Yeah. And it's also
there's a lot of kids, and you're like, whoa, okay.
Which is kind of fun as far as the baseball and these younger kids kick these older kids' asses.
Nostalgic.
But it's also
with baseball and playing like this, you just grab kids and you go play.
Well, it's also weird because this scene has little to do with the fucking movie. It just keeps going.
Yeah, I know. It is 5 minutes of a baseball game, and you're like, this no point. Except for that amazing line of "Eat shit and live, Bill."
Yeah,
that's the point. And maybe to see him run around in their hot shorts, getting the real gayness of it. I guess
maybe just you could have edited down just a little bit. Other than maybe we need a full runtime of so we need to add this. We need to add this whole scene of the play. They might as well just play the whole fucking game on fucking camera.
Because you are correct. There's no point. There isn't Angela's not around. She's not watching the game.
And maybe this is yeah, exactly.
So that's what I mean. There's really no point to this other than we are looking at these guys in their little shorty shorts and them calling each other names. And you get to see the good kids win, like the bullies lose. So I guess that's fun.
But you know what? Like I like going back on it, like, oh, what the fuck's the point of this scene other than like the lines, the shorts, and like maybe it's establishing a little bit more tension between Ricky and the older kids, because as we see, Ricky being fucking like 5'3",
he's so
does
little.
try to fight these kids a lot. Like
I know, and I think that's why I kind of admire him. I was like, he's little, but he's feisty.
He's scrappy.
Scrappy kid.
Yeah.
And I enjoy Ricky's outfits. I think he has one at the end where his shirt and short combo, I was like, that's the kid. He's the star. Like,
yeah. So then we cut to the canteen, which is basically like the little social, part of the camp where all the kids just kind of gather at night and, hang around. Let's
hang out.
And I think
that's what you did.
This is where one of the parts. This is where one of the kids starts to like. They start trying to hit on Angela because they notice that she's a little weird, or they start trying to mess with her. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he actually tries to like hang out with her. But, yeah.
No, but I feel like you're correct. But it is that like popular boy bully where he's like, I'm gonna go try and flirt with the weird girl, see if she'll like me.
Yeah, so she hasn't talked to anybody. Well, it was like it's like a pissing contest. Like,
yeah.
She hasn't talked to anybody, but I bet she'll talk to me.
Exactly. Like, I'll get her to open up, and you're just like, oh, you prick. Like, but this is Billy though. That's Billy, right? Yeah, that's him. Bill, not Billy.
Kenny?
Bill.
No, Bill's the other guy with the open shirt. The guy in the pink button down. I actually don't know the fuck is. And then I think Kenny is the guy in the black shirt.
Okay.
So they both try to come over here. They both try to make moves on Angela, asking, and this is all these kids are trying to do every night. All these kids are just trying to hook up, especially the older ones.
Pester her constantly.
Did you imagine, like, why would you want to go to camp if, like, I mean, if you're a girl, like, and you just wanted to be left alone? All these guys are trying to sleep with you every night.
Every night. I would also be like, do not talk to me. Yeah. Like, isolate.
And then Mel walks in, and I'm like, oh, yeah. Then, like, Meg is just giving Mel the fucking bedroom eyes from across the fucking room.
And how old is Meg?
Meg might be 18, maybe.
Let's just hope.
Let's hope. But she loves a grandpa, apparently.
She likes the older men, baby.
Yeah. So then enter fucking Ricky
that hat.
riding real high, from the baseball game, and then he notices that these boys are kind of messing with Angela. He walks over and he immediately instigates a fight, telling her to leave her alone. And homie tries to take on everybody. Like, it's fucking great.
And they knocked off his cowboy hat. That's rude.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. He's the little scrappy little punk. I mean, he's like, bring it on. You're like, dude, you're 5'2".
Dude,
110 pounds.
90 pounds.
Maybe.
You maybe 100 pounds. You are skinny.
He's little. Yeah, he's little. I think my nephew's bigger than him, and my nephew's 12.
So then, Angela's fucking stare just does it for me every time. She's just staring blankly at everything. Oh, yeah. That was her audition tape. Her audition tape, which was what she did in the scene, was staring blankly and eating a chocolate bar, which is what she had.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and she nailed it. Mm-hmm. So apparently she loves sugar.
She does really nail that absolute blank stare.
It's really nice how, like, the fight is going off and she's just staring blankly, has no reaction whatsoever.
Yeah, and then there is this, like, the going back to, like, what we do know and, like, the queerness of this movie, the tone of it. Like, you can tell that Angela does like, it's Paul, right?
Yeah, Paul starts making the moves on Angela as Ricky, one of his best friends, leaves the canteen, and he's just like, well, I guess I'll talk to her. And then he starts making the moves, and I guess he's a little funny, he's a little quirky.
But he also is very heavy with it, being like, well, like, it's like, oh my God, like, was there no subtleness in the 80s? And I don't think there was.
But I guess because maybe Ricky vouches for Paul, or, because he's actually really sweet to Angela. Then
right,
Angela's
but Angela, is
comes out of
like
her shell.
into it. Like she is kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
and
Well,
also
'cause-
deeply confusing for her.
Well, you also notice that Angela does open up to people that are genuinely nice to her.
Yes.
So you see this right now with Paul, and then later you see it with one of the other camp counselors, the blonde one, who's actually really, really nice to her. So she can open up. She is not a mute, but if you don't pay attention, you don't know. You have no idea.
Yeah, and then you have like Judy, who just hates her guts, and wants to like take her down just because she's our mean girl.
Yeah, just because she's a mingo, because, you know, it's people, oh yeah, a lot of bare asses. Look at that. The
Hey,
whatchamacallit, yeah, just because like bullies like to fucking pick on people who are, you know, are not like them, or whatever the fuck, or easy targets.
yep.
And, you know, the quiet kid might be the easy target if they're not going to talk back. So then we cut to the lake, and all the older boys trying to get all the girls in the camp to just fucking go skinny dipping with them. So then
Again, and we just get so much naked butts.
so many naked butts, which is kind of funny though, because like these kids are like, well, if any of the girls won't go, we don't need them, right, boys? And then they
I
just all
love
get
it.
naked. It's just like,
Well, we don't need chicks. Let's go, boys. I love it. I was like, yes, I want to see more of that. Just guys being like, well, we're going to go skinny dipping. Screw this.
yeah, we don't need girls to get us off. We can get each other off, right, boys?
Like, okay, great. I like it.
So then enter Kenny, who was messing around with Angela, and he's a big stoner, and apparently he convinces one of the other girls not to go skinny dipping, but to go on to the lake with him. And it seems like, you know, Kenny might be making the right moves at one point, but then he starts to say that, you know, don't be sticking your hand in the water. You know, there's all sorts of snapping turtles and water snakes. And then he starts to, you know, rock the boat. And I'm just like, wait, are you trying to hook up with her? Or are you trying to like scare the shit out of her?
Scare, exactly. Like, you can't, like,
You got her on
correct.
the boat. You got her
You
to go
got
with
her,
you.
I was like, you have her where you wanted. Like, aren't this the perfect time to put your moves on? Like, she went on the boat with you. She probably is into it, I would assume.
Yeah, or at least make out, maybe.
Exactly. Make out, maybe a little touching. But yeah, like, you're right. He's like, what is he trying to do? Freak her the fuck out? Because I guess that worked.
I mean, you know, in my mind, I always freak him out before you get to the
Yes.
second
And then you're
location.
like, come here, sweetheart.
Come here, sweetheart. So then Kenny's just loving. He tips over the boat. This girl, I believe her name is Leslie, just like, I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah,
And
she swims out of there.
leaves.
She's like, this is stupid.
Yeah, and then she leaves with the rest of the campers. And then Kenny's in the boat by himself. And I believe all the other gentlemen, I guess after one long circle jerk that they all pulled together,
Yep.
decided to leave. They're all satisfied. And they all
I
decided
would
to
assume
leave.
that's exactly what happened.
And Kenny's going to flip the boat back over. And then we get another behind the shot of our killer. And we get a lot of victims saying, oh no, it's you.
Yeah,
Or
there's a
like,
lot of that.
it's you. What are you doing here? You know?
Exactly. Oh, you. I like that.
Yeah, that's classy.
it's-
That's
I think
tough
it's
the
good.
time. Like, yeah. Oh no, what are you doing here?
And it's just the back of their head, so you don't have no one. Well, you.
Yeah. When you first watched it, who did you think the killer was?
Angela, immediately. There was, I
Oh.
went ahead and like, I really was no. I guess I was a bit surprised in the ending, only because, like I said in the beginning of a record, I was like, I realized that I'd seen so many memes, and I was like, oh, this is that. Got it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like super clever. I was like, no, it's pretty clear cut that this is Angela. Like,
So Angela drowns poor Kenny. Exit stage right, Kenny. The boys leave, looking for Kenny, being like, whatever, Kenny's probably fucking around. We'll see him back at the cabin. It's the next morning, and we have one of the lifeguards who is really pissed that everybody just took all the furniture and put it in like the bank of the lake. And he tips over one of the canoes and finds poor Kenny, who in the last 8 hours has been viciously eaten by everything in the lake. It's the SF work, the special effects work, the makeup work is really, really good in this.
okay, I was gonna say, like, I really enjoyed that look of that dead body and the snake. that
I think
ruled.
if this movie didn't also have good special effects, like it probably wouldn't be. Maybe it'd be
I agree.
Still a cult classic, but like this one's just like the makeup is done really, really well. Oh, I think
Yes.
the whole crew came off of doing a Creep Show, so like
that
they
would
knew
check
what they were
out.
doing. The movie shot
Yes.
really well. The effects.
No,
done.
yeah, the special effects for this low budget, loved it. Even
Yeah.
when the guy got boiled to death, it's great.
Yeah.
well, he did die, but boiled.
They had like a little pump off camera, and they can make the boils move up and down. Oh,
Yeah.
it's pretty fucking gross.
I like the practical effects. I really do.
Yeah, so I guess that's why they like left the camera on Artie for a little bit longer, because like yeah, we paid a lot of money for these makeup effects. Like, I'm gonna take as much footage of this as possible.
They're like, just stare at this dead body for 30 seconds, please. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, fair. We spent a lot of
Like,
money.
I enjoyed watching the snake like move through the nose. I was like, that's fucking cool.
Oh
It's
yeah,
gross.
and all the bites on the neck and the face. I'm like, oh, that looks fucking gross. That is so good. I love how interchangeable in horror movies. It's gross.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah, we saw that before. We're like, oh, that's disgusting. Cool.
Yeah. So then we end Mel's third act of bad owner. He's just like, well, I guess this boy drowned. How
Crazy.
unfortunate. That's crazy. It was an accident, officer. No reason to scare anybody. We're just going to deem it an accident, right? And as Ronnie tries to question it a little bit, Mel gets a little bit in his face and just like, nope, it was an accident. They call it a day. And the officer just says, that's that. And says, Ronnie, what were you going to say? He's just like, oh, I don't know. I feel like Kenny was a really, really good swimmer, and that'd be weird if he drowned, right? It's been like, what, 2 days, and now you have one horrific accident and one murder? Like,
yeah, you.
like maybe.
Dude, shut it down.
You see the camp counselors there. Like, I mean, you see the other campers there, so they know that, like, somebody passed. Somebody died, drowned.
Someone,
like, immediately.
Yeah, the other campers, you saw someone get put in a body bag and taken away, and they'd be like, I guess it's fine?
Like, and also, like, but, like, wouldn't you have called your parents, and, like, the parents would have been fucking frightened at that point, Well,
I feel like this is in a time where you, like, didn't really, like, you might send your parents a letter once a week, and then it was just like, I don't know. I don't think any of these kids are talking to their parents on a regular basis.
Yeah, maybe. I thought they maybe would have called, but I guess, yeah, you're right. Calling would have been expensive. From, like, another city to, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. All right. So then we cut to a little volleyball game where all the girls in Angela's bunk are playing volleyball, and Judy, wearing her famous Judy shirt,
I love that shirt.
is giving fucking old Angela stink eye as Angela's talking.
She would be. Sorry. Judy would be such a fun Halloween costume. That's all. Like that outfit, the pink Judy shirt, the shorts, side ponytail. I'm like, that's a
curler.
Yeah. A curler. I think that's a fun Halloween costume. That's pretty cheap and efficient. Anyway, back we go.
Yeah. So then the girls are just like, well, if you're not going to play sports, you can't sit around here and talk to fucking boys all day. I mean, I didn't really know the two were fucking, coincided or.
Exactly. It's like, you can play sports and talk to boys, but you can't, like.
You can't not
do
play
one.
sports and talk to boys.
Yes. You can't just talk to boys.
And Paul had just asked Angela if she wanted to go to the movie that they were all mandatory to go to, but if they wanted to go together, you know what I'm saying?
That's cute. That was definitely camp behavior.
Yeah. And then we start getting a little images of Meg being a real see you next Tuesday. She's being really, really mean to fucking Angela.
She's an asshole. Because she's got to get to her date. I don't know. She's just mean.
Sorry, 1 second.
No, you're good. And we do just like get like the cute, like you talked about, like, do you want to go to like the movie tonight with me? So they're holding hands, and there's this, the simplicity of like them having this crush, I think, is sweet.
Yeah.
Because they are just like kissing each other on the cheek at this point.
Well, it's super, super innocent, right? Like they're coming out of the movie. They're holding hands. Paul's looked like he's dressed to the nine for the date, wearing his best khakis and button down, you know. And Paul's just like, "Yo, come over here. I want to show you something." And he gives her a peck. He gives her a peck on the lips. It's and she's not upset, but knowing what we know about Angela, she might be really confused.
Yes,
and
that's, I think, what's happening. The internal struggle inside, just being like, I'm attracted to a boy. All those questions that,
or like I'm supposed
not a
to
trans
be
person.
attracted to a boy.
Yeah,
but
like it's probably so confusing.
Super
and
confused.
You don't have any emotionally mature adult to turn to. That sucks.
Well, we haven't even explained the twist, but everybody knows the twist.
Yeah.
So like I said, we're not saying anything that hasn't already been said about this
Exactly.
movie. But like, knowing that we know now, like, yeah, that's why Angela probably walked away, because super fucking confused by what Paul did. But Paul's running, on cloud nine because he just kissed a pretty girl twice,
Yeah, absolutely. That high, being like, yes! Running around.
And then Judy walks up to Paul and being like, "You get what you want," because Judy, of course, anybody who's not paying attention to Judy and her yabos, she just has to instigate, or has to basically be, I don't know, a bitch. Judy's a fucking bitch.
She is. She's a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Do they say yabos in this movie?
He says something, or like gazongas,
What
or
is
something like
yabos
that.
from, though?
Oh, I don't know.
Many
like,
things. I know, but there's one movie in particular.
Like I
Doesn't
said, like
matter.
this
is so many.
This is basically like Porky's and Friday the 13th put together.
Yabos. Riding in cars with boys. Drew Barrymore. That's what I was thinking of. Not horror related at all.
All right. So then we cut back to the boys' camp, and they're pulling another trick on Mozart. Mozart could have been the killer all along,
They definitely pick on him a lot.
And as they pull their next prank on him, Mozart pulls out a fucking like hunting knife and chases around Ricky with it. And of course, Gino walks in, takes the knife from Mozart, and it's just like, like, "You're not getting this till the end of camp." Yeah. Which is just like, I mean, people were like, "Why would this kid have a knife?" I'm like, "You're camping." And on top of that, like, kids and knives go hand in hand. Yeah, like,
kids had knives. Kids
Yeah,
probably
kids
still have knives.
Yeah, everybody's got a knife now. Yeah. That's why you can't get in a fight.
I have my knife and I have my pepper spray. This is dangerous times.
100%. Well, you just trying to be safe.
Yes.
So
No, that is true.
Yeah, you never know. And I think in the state of California, illegal to carry a certain length of knife in your pocket. Conceal,
it is.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, also legal to carry a large knife not concealed. So you can carry a machete if you want. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I don't think I need that, but
Not
good
yet.
to know. Not yet. You're not wrong.
As long as it's not, I think there's like a lot of like not concealed laws in other states. As like, you can, like, that's why you see those hipsters wearing around like giant knives on their belts.
Yeah, and they have no idea.
Yeah,
It's just like, dude, like, don't be doing that. That's like rule one. Like, don't be showing that around if you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, they're just strutting it around. So like it's legal to have, and it is intimidating to see like a giant fucking knife on a fucking belt. But like, all right, calm the fuck down.
But it's people like that I get worried about, because I'm like, you feel like you need to show it off? Why?
That almost seemed like a parallel with this movie. So then we cut to the next day, and we're at the lake, and then Paul's trying to make the moves on Angela again. They're being sweet, and Angela's being sweet back,
Yeah.
And then Meg
that's
walks.
The gentleness of this. That's what I like when I look at this, and I'm like, this is actually quite sincere.
Mm-hmm.
But then here comes fucking Meg.
Yeah, Meg fucking trollops fucking in, or fucking stampedes in, and just be like, "You're not gonna get in the fucking," and shakes her violently. And Lucky Ronnie's there to save her.
Abuses her like unnecessarily. I'm like, I don't think you're allowed to touch them like that.
Well, yeah,
But
it's
the
also
80s.
one of the especially you're the counselor. You're not like you're not the fucking like you're
But
not a camper.
Ronnie shows up and he's like, "Yo, stop."
And then we cut to. Well, I think we Yeah. We got back to the girls' camp or bunk, and then Angela's just watching Judy walk out, and then Judy's just like, I don't think I've ever seen you shower with us. I bet you don't even have your period. It starts really just fucking egging her on a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
And that is some fucking mean girl shit, and I'm sorry to say it happens.
Yeah. And one of the other girls trying to stand up for Angela. And I forget. Oh, this is where you got so many classic lines in this fucking movie. Judy says that Angela's a carpenter's dream, flat as a board and needs a screw, which I'm like, yep. That's horrific. And one of the other campers can't fucking bear to hear it, slaps the shit out of Judy. And we're like, rightly so. You know, Judy needed to get slapped.
She did.
Yeah. A little wake up call, you know? And Angela disassociated from the whole fucking thing, like much of this fucking movie. Just like, I'm going to see Ricky now. And walks away. Kind of like, you know, channeling her aunt for a little bit. It's just like, doesn't say thank you for slapping Judy. Just says, I go see Ricky now. And walks away.
No, her dissociation is real. The CPTSD this girl has. I wish her the best.
I kind of wonder if that's like a thing though. Like when things get out of hand, she just like disassociates.
That might be it. I don't know. That is so fucking tricky. I used to dissociate heavily, and I've been able to work through it. So I mean, it sucks.
Yeah. So Angela's walking towards the boys' camp, towards Ricky. All the other boys are up on the roof of one of the bunks, fucking throwing balloons.
Just fucking boys being boys. Like, just so many shots of shorts.
That's not a 18-year-old hairy chest. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and then they start, of course, she's just, like you talked about, I'm going to see Ricky. Go and just see your cousin, and they just like start throwing water balloons at her. Yeah,
I mean, that's just kids being kids, but they do peg her pretty hard. She falls down.
They did.
Ricky sees it. He tries to instigate another fight with a fucking gang of fucking dudes.
Gang of dudes on the roof, and he's like, get out of here.
Dude, he's significantly like a foot shorter than everybody.
He is.
And then Mel shows up.
Mel.
And it's just like, what is that look, though? Like that golfer... knee-high socks, black knee-high socks, white shoes.
He looks... God, what is that? It's like sleazy Italian grandfather.
It's just like, it's sort of
but
a
not
golfer,
quite
but
Italian. Like, it's so weird. The high black socks. I don't know.
It is a grandpa thing to do. It's just weird. It's like how dads start wearing New Balances, like grandpa started wearing knee-high black socks with white shoes and shorts. That's weird. I don't know.
When does that happen?
When does that come? When does
that change over? Because you see it happen. There's one day they show up just looking like it, and you're like, huh.
Yeah. So we run over to the boys' cabin. They're going to play another game of baseball, and I think Bill... not named Billy, Bill, because you don't name a grown man Billy.
No, the grown man is Bill.
A massive dump. You see all the boys at the game.
Oh, wait, I wrote it down because it made me laugh so hard. Shit, because he said, I got to go take a wicked dump. Like his accent.
There you go. That's what it is. Thank you.
I got to go take a wicked dump.
A wicked dump.
And I laughed so hard. I was like, I feel like I've definitely said that.
Mm-hmm. And then we get a shot of the knife that Mozart had cutting the screen into the bathroom. And somebody, we don't know who, but we know it's you.
It is you
dumping a beehive, which is just like, this necessarily wouldn't kill somebody. But
Bill's allergic to bees.
Is he?
Yes. And I only figured this out with research that I did. Because when I just looked up on Wikipedia, it was like, well, Bill's allergic to bees, so he died instantly. I'm like, he was? Interesting. That was never made clear. But I guess that's what's happened here.
I mean, I guess if I guess if somebody did their homework and would have seen what everybody was allergic to in everybody's files in Mel's office or whatnot.
Right. I was like, it wasn't made clear that any of us knew that he was allergic to bees. Granted, if you've been stung more than once at a time, that does suck. I think I've been stung like 5 or 6 times at once, and it's awful.
No, but these bees are like flesh-eating bees, and when we get a shot of Bill, it's they've eaten his face apparently because Bill's sweet as honey. Like, what the fuck? But regardless, the dead dummy that they use in the makeup, like that looks so good.
Yes,
like, that's
again,
horrific.
Another great use of their, like, obviously their special effects and the practical effects. It looks great, and I'm happy to stare at it like they make us.
Mel all of a sudden decides, you know what? Guess what? I'm fucked, because that is a second
That's
boy
it.
dead.
I can't do it anymore. It's no longer an accident. Someone's murdering.
Yeah, and he just decides that it's got to be
Ricky. Or not yet, maybe not yet. But he gets there.
Because
he just doesn't like Ricky?
Well, he notices that Ricky's got a temper, and apparently out of all the kids in camp, well, also Ricky's probably the one that's gotten in the most fights, so it must be him.
Well, we have mentioned that. Like, he's starting all these fights, but, like, we're kind of rooting for him because it's in defense of Angela. Yeah.
And in one of the best misleads ever, we get a shot of Angela in a little POV shot as Paul comes across and scares her. And then Angela, like I said, in the best misleads, be like, don't you know there's a killer on the loose?
I like that.
Yeah. But also, you know, I'll put my own theories out there. Like, maybe Angela did disassociate, and when she kills somebody, she's a completely different person.
That's a theory. In my experience, that's not how dissociating works, but you know what? You might be able to do that.
I don't know. There's a lot going on with Angela. So
there is, and rightfully fucking so. Like,
because like I don't assume that she would try to like basically put it on somebody like, oh, I'm not the killer.
No. No, I agree with you. I see what you're saying.
Like, she's not. I'd say that she's not clever, but I don't think that she's got the wherewithal to be like, I'm not the killer. Obviously, I'm going to mislead everybody to think it's somebody else. So, her and Paul are playing. I guess they're making out on the beach, and this is where we get some of our
being playful.
Yeah, they're getting some of our flashbacks, and as Paul starts to make a move, we see a flashback to John and Larry, her dad, and maybe Uncle Larry being tender in bed, and them laughing. Yeah. And then we cut to that's why it's not. To me, it's not homophobic, because they're not villainizing her father.
Exactly. I think you're just showing two men that are caressing each other, and then you have two kids that are like hee 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 hee. Like, that's I don't get that. Like, it's not. Yeah, we're not villainizing anything here.
And they're not.
They're kids,
and they're not like. They're not talking derogatorily about her father or anything like that or anything.
No.
But and then we cut to the other scene is open to interpretation, where we have the brother and the sister in bed. Some people says that they're playing doctor. Some people says that they're also trying to do what their dad was doing. I don't see that at all.
Agree. I don't. But then there's like the boy pointing to the girl, like, and again, like, open for interpretation. What does this mean? But I don't agree with they were acting out what they saw their parents doing.
No, not at all. Like, no. If anything, I think they're just trying to foreshadow what we're going to come to later.
Exactly. I think that it was foreshadowing. And I will say I guess I do understand that there are people that do not like this movie, and I understand why. And then there are people that love this movie, like me. So I get it from both arguments.
Yeah, I mean, like,
maybe argument's not the correct word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, the pedophilia is a huge no-no for me, but like now looking like everybody kind of gets their upcomings. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Comeuppance.
Everyone gets their comeuppance.
But then I always like to think of that one as like foreshadowing, like, or at least looking at it now this time around, like, oh, maybe in this flashback you're trying to tell us that like Peter's pointed at Angela being like, I am you, Or
I kind of lean towards that one, like the pointing of being like, who's who, maybe.
yeah.
Like after my few of my rewatches, I kind of landed on that one. I'm like, okay.
So then we cut to the next day. Angela flees from the makeout scene in the lake and then leaves Paul hanging. And Paul's just wondering what he did wrong. Obviously, Angela's going through some shit. So
Yes, that's the answer. Angela's going through some shit.
yeah, like you say, heavily confused on what's going on. So we cut to the next day and they're playing a little bit of flag football. And then Ricky's got an awesome idea. If they cut around, but with Angela's help, they could win the game. Because Ricky's all about just like, I don't know, having a good time playing.
Yeah. He's like, I'm trying to just play some games. This is the outfit I was talking about. Sorry, I do enjoy Ricky's outfit. I love the pockets out of the jean shorts. That's a look.
No, those are the flags for flag football.
Oh, really? I thought it was the pockets. Damn it.
No. Everybody's got
You're
the...
right.
Yeah.
It looks like the pockets are like turned inside out, though.
It does. So then the moment before, Paul was trying to just get back together with Angela, being like, look, it's okay, like we'll just take things easy, yada yada yada. And Angela's not having it at all. She doesn't want anything to do with Paul. She walks away, but then comes across Judy making moves on Paul, because Judy's just like, I'm not a prude like Angela is.
Yeah, Judy, again, she is just being a fucking bitch. She's like, I want everyone to pay attention to me.
Yeah. And
for like, when you get a horny teenage boy, of course they're going to be like, well, okay. Like, it's like, I don't know. It's not surprising.
Not wrong. No, 100%. Be like, oh, this girl's going to put up? Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. It's just teens. It's just teen behavior, everyone.
Yeah. And for some reason, we cut back to the same scene where Angela's sitting back in the same spot, right by the lake.
Yeah.
And then Paul's trying to apologize to her, being like, look, baby, I'm sorry. She meant nothing to me. You know, Judy.
No, it's just Judy. She means nothing. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then in walks Judy all over again. Like it's just funny how we just cut to another scene, but it's the same fucking characters all over again, but just a different scene. Like you could have had, I feel like you could have had the same scene and take place in one spot as opposed to different locations, two different scenes.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah.
You're right. And maybe it would have been better. It's like, could you just maybe sat her down like further down the dock? Maybe not the exact same bench that they had this conversation the day before, but you know what? It does, I guess, true to her character, where she's just very quiet, very particular, very in her head.
No, actually, I do like that. I do like that.
Yeah.
That like she is like the things that make her comfortable. She's just going to repeat over and over again because there are so many things that make her uncomfortable. Right. And then Ricky's walking over. Oh, sorry. Go for it.
No, I was going to say that's just like a huge thing if you are a person with CPSD and who dissociates a lot. Like there's a huge comfort in you doing the same things over and over again. Yeah, it's bizarre, but there is some truth to that.
So Judy just keeps fucking talking at Angela, and you don't even know if like Angela's even like paying attention to her because she's just giving a blank stare. And the more that Angela just stares blankly at Judy, the more fucking pissed Judy gets. And then in fucking tramples fucking Meg or fucking Giant, and just like they're like, you know, you need a little bit of a swim. So they decide to throw her into the fucking water.
Yeah, yeah.
Throughout this whole time, Ricky's being interrogated by Mel, and Mel's just like figured it out. He's just like, it's you, isn't it? You're the one who's been doing this whole thing this entire time. And
like starts to, I mean, later on, he does beat the shit out of Ricky, but then also starts here, and it's like, Mel, you were an adult. Like, this is beating up a child, but whatever. Yeah,
it was, it's a little aggressive, but I mean, like, also, like, Mel's losing his fucking camp. He's probably going to get sued. So, like, I don't think Mel has much to lose. Maybe he's like, you know what? Nothing left to lose. I want to beat up this kid. Like, they're going to come after me.
But Ricky does help her like come back after being thrown in the water, and then like the other kids in the camp throwing sand at them. Like there are just so like moments in this movie where I'm like, God, they're really just teasing the ever letting shit out of this person.
Yeah, like no reason to, you know. Maybe you didn't even know if Angela knew how to swim. I mean, you could probably figure it, but she might have known how to swim. But like throwing somebody in the water, like doesn't know how to fucking swim, that's fucking frightening as fuck. And we got some little fucking kids on the side throwing sand. Like you said, everybody's just making fun of Angela. Like, yeah, I've seen that. You know, unfortunately, I've seen that kid like, growing up. Like everybody made fun of. You know,
kids are mean.
Luckily, they didn't murder anybody.
Kids are mean, but don't murder. Don't do that.
Yeah. No, don't make fun of everybody. Like, stop picking on people. Stop bullying.
The bullies, like, I mean, I know, I guess it feels like it might be just a part of like growing up because it happens, but being like, do you feel like when you see an adult bully and you're like, that's fucking embarrassing?
Oh,
like,
yeah, fair.
that, like when you're a grown person and you're bullying someone, I'm like, that's embarrassing.
Yeah. You'd be like, yeah, just tone it down a little bit. You're obviously the bigger one here.
Yeah, like.
Yeah. So then we cut to nighttime. All the counselors have gathered around. I think they decided to, like, what, they're going to kind of like keep it low key tonight and like everybody in their
it's
cabin.
like lets everyone hang out in their cabin. Like we're not hanging out all around the camp, I guess. And then finally we have this. Like Meg gets to go on her date with Mel.
Oh yeah.
No, not Meg. Yeah, Meg. And you're
Meg
like
and Mel.
Meg and Mel.
Mm-hmm.
Confusing fucking names.
Mm-hmm. Sitting by the lake.
Yeah, and Mel, I kind of do enjoy Mel just kind of being like, oh, okay. Like, I'll see you at 9:30. Like, he kind of is just like not, at first he's like, oh, she is into me. And then he's kind of like, all right. Like, yeah, but also gross.
Yeah, she's just like, whatchamacallit, she's like, I got a date tonight, you know? Oh no, she walks over to Meg, sorry. She walks over to, it's fucking confusing as fuck.
It's confusing.
She walks over to Mel and she's like, hey, don't you remember you promised me dinner? And he's like, oh, yeah, sure.
He's like,
you know?
I did? Oh,
like,
yeah.
9:30. I'm just like, all right. So then she goes over to the empty cabin to shower, you know, being as Angela just like sizes her up as she walks out. And then we get a nice little backlit shot of somebody's shadow with a knife walking into the cabin where Meg's taking a shower. Mm-hmm. And I guess we don't really understand like how, but it's like a little bit of a long shot where Meg is just sitting like humming along a song, like, all right, this goes on for like a second too long.
Yeah.
But,
and like doing that, like not washing her body with any soap, just, you know, water on my face. Yeah. Like,
oh, I do like it in movies how sometimes they just like pat themselves, like,
yes.
because of the makeup. Yeah, and
great. Then you do get for Meg's kill, like knife through the side of the shower, through her into her body, down her back.
Ooh, that's the
ouch.
Just not so much the being stabbed, but it dragging through you like to the bottom, like that's rough.
Yeah. Also, I gotta like pay a little bit of tribute to like I guess the psycho-ness of it. Like there's a lot of psycho here, and I almost might put this movie closer to being more on like the psycho level versus a Friday the 13th.
Yeah, with the twist, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, very similar character, you know.
Mm-hmm. And I did look at those similarities too when I was like doing my little research. So like I didn't come up with that on my own, but that shower scene was like very like okay, cool. Like we're doing a little Hitchcock here. I enjoy it. I like when those like pretty obvious Easter eggs are in old school horror movies or even current ones. I like it.
Well, that's what like in horror movies, like, you know, you want to give some characters or the benefit of the doubt. Where like in Psycho, Norman Bates, like sometimes I don't really know if it's Norman Bates who's actually killing everybody, or if Norman Bates, or if it's his mother, like because he is basically his fucking psyche is fucking fractured, and he's his mother when he's killing everybody. I think like that's the way it plays out in the show and in the movie and stuff like that. So that's like in this,
like in this
like, is that a glimpse of it where like Angela in her head? I mean, later, you know, it's obvious that like it's Angela doing everything, but like, yeah, is some part of Angela broken and like she just fucking goes off the rails and she doesn't know when she's murdering somebody? So like when she's saying like, oh, there's a killer on loose, she really thinks there's somebody out there murdering everybody. So she can actually like, you know, like pass a polygraph test because she doesn't know it's her.
That is you know what? I like that. No, I like it because you're going one step further past dissociation and you're going well into having a, like you said, like a psyche. Like you need to be checking to see a psychiatrist. Like what's going on here, that you are dissociating so heavily that you don't even think you're doing it. Yeah,
you don't even know what you're doing. You're another party,
which is the next level into like you've left, like schizophrenia. You're gone. So
I thought they were supposed to keep it low key, but apparently, like, there's some kids.
They're not.
This is like the night they're camping out. This is that.
Oh
night.
Yeah, the camp out night, which is such a bummer.
Mm-hmm. So they have the youngest kids.
Honestly, I didn't expect that, but yeah.
Oh yeah, because it kind of plays out like.
Now we're in our third act. Like we really have gone into like, all right, here we go. Like.
Yeah, this is the night everything ramps up. This is, and I kind of like the pace in this movie, even though like. You know, we get a murder fine. Like every like 10, 15 minutes, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's
like
very watchable.
Yeah, the pacing doesn't bother me. Like the fucking the bonkers fucking writing's fucking good, makeup's good. Like I said, the movie kind of holds up, and
it really does.
This is why, like, when some people call like, oh, they say like a movie's a cult classic sometimes. But, like, I don't know, like, people actually have to like the movie for it to be a cult classic. You can't just pick, like, any bad movie and be like, oh, it's a cult classic. No, man, like, that movie's genuinely bad, the one you're talking about.
Correct.
I'm specifically talking about a particular movie, but whatever.
Because I think when it comes in hand, when you say, yeah, I love that, like you just said, like, the cult classic, like, we are aware that it might not be the best, but we love it.
Yeah, but we love it, and there are genuinely good things about this movie.
Exactly, like Idle Hands. Like, we're very aware. We're like, okay, yeah, it might not be the best, but like, we love this movie. It's fun, like
fucking hilarious.
Yes, like it's so we've seen it millions of times. We fucking love it. Like,
so we cut over to the campers camping out. We go over to Mel in the cantina, look in his best Friday night golfer outfit.
Fuck yeah, those green pants.
The yellow jacket, yellow members only jacket. Oh, yeah. Mel's ready to have dinner, if you know what I'm saying.
Dinner.
So
that 9:30 dinner, he was ready.
I'm surprised it wasn't 6:30. Fucking.
That's a late fucking dinner for him. I know, right? I was like, you should be in bed.
So he's looking for Mel. He walked over to the cantina. He walked over to the girls' bunk, and he sees almost catches Judy making out with another random boy, telling her, "Do you have to kiss so wet?" He's like, "I don't know how she kisses, but whatever." And then this boy just like, you know what? I had enough of your shit. I'm fucking out of here. Which is kind of funny for Judy. Just like Judy can't keep any of the boys around.
Judy can't keep a boy. She's highly critical. Judy. Highly critical. Like, Damn. Judy, chill, man. Like,
she does have some fucking, just like the way she fucking mean mugs fucking people. It's kind of pretty good. She spends a lot of the film mean mugging everybody.
She really does.
So then Judy tells Mel, not Meg, that she was taking a shower up in the next empty bunk, and then Mel walks over and be like, "Oh, hey, Meg,
you in your showering? You in your shower still?"
And then we get a little bit of self-exposition as Mel finds poor Meg, who's been cut from neck to tailbone. Which is actually kind of really funny, because as soon as he walks into the bathroom, her body falls out of the shower stall.
I know. And Mel's just like stands there and stares at her for a good while.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't report it.
Yeah. And he's like...
No, he gets some great lines here. He's like, "No,
Yes.
Meg, not you, not
Yes.
you, Meg. I had him. I let him get away, but now I'll
Let
stop
him
him.
go.
He won't get
No,
away."
Not my beautiful Meg. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Meg, I will avenge you.
Yeah, basically, like he's like, "He won't get away from me again." You know?
He does it for 5 hours. He
Oh
really
yeah,
did.
yeah. But he goes over the top. I love it. So then we come back to Judy, and in Judy's final scene, the spoiler alert.
Oh, yo, this one,
This
much
one's
like
hardcore.
this
Hard.
one's hardcore. Like a lot of the deaths in this, you don't really see much. You just kind of get like, okay, like this is not, and this is like that too. You don't see much, but you know exactly what fucking happens, and it's nasty.
This is also probably why this movie also holds up, because it's fucking
Yes.
hardcore. Like,
It
some other
is.
movies do like some gruesome fucking death scenes and like people's arms get chopped off and whatnot. But this one's coming up is fucking horrific. And I don't think I've seen anything that bad in a movie.
No,
Just
it really is graphic, even though you don't see it.
So to summarize, Judy's curling her hair, and she thinks Mike is coming back, the boy who just left her, because it's just like, "Mike, you coming back for seconds?" And then notice that she's like, "Oh, it's you again," as we get a shadowy figure. And they walk over to Judy, and Judy's like, "What do you want?" And they sock her, nice right hook to the, yeah, basically. A nice right hook to the jawbone, and Judy passes out. And then we see a shadow of a curling iron being inserted into poor Judy.
Yeah. And so that's it. You don't need any more of what fucking how she gets murdered brutally.
Well, so then there's like a lot of people and a lot of other discussions and podcasts and whatnot been like, well, would that have murdered her? Like, other than it being extremely painful? And I'm like, maybe, like, if you do far enough, like, maybe you could have boiled her, like, stomach,
You certainly.
Or maybe popped her uterus or something. Like,
depending on how fucking nasty that person decided to get, you could absolutely murder her with a curling iron.
You could have gone that far. Like use your imagination. It could have been
Or
like
don't.
something.
Like, it's not a fun place to be.
Not a fun place to be. But apparently some people were like, no, that never would have killed her. She could have recovered. And there was something like on sleepawaycamp.com saying that like her character survived and is just living with a scarred vagina somewhere. And I'm like, okay, I guess. Like,
yeah, but you know what? Like, having to live with that trauma, yuck.
Oof.
That's worse.
Yeah, no, that's so. Like I said, this movie goes hardcore with some of the stuff.
So you know what? For my peace of mind, I'm just gonna go for she died.
Yeah,
I was like,
off.
yo, living with that kind of trauma, no, thank you.
Oof, rough. Mm-hmm. Did I say it's deserved? I don't know if it's deserved. It's pretty bad. She actually
was
never
a bitch, but I don't think that was deserved.
She was a bitch, but she never touched
exactly
Angela. Fun fact, it's Angela.
She was mean, but I don't really think that was she needed to go out like that. But hey, man, we're horror fans. We get it.
yeah. So then we cut over to the campers that are sleeping out tonight and realize they've all been butchered in their fucking sleeping bags. I don't even know how they've been murdered.
True. You just see like, messed up, bloody kind of sleeping bags. And to be honest, that was like the one kill where I was like, that was odd. Like, why did we just take out those guys? But okay. Like, that's when I'm like, Angela, you've gone unhinged. Like,
yeah, we could, because you kind of don't even see them like making fun of Angela, but like you have to pay attention. Like, yeah,
unless they were the ones that were throwing
sand
sand at her. And then I'm like, well, wrong time.
Yeah. So then we cut over to Ricky leaving the canteen as he's getting a little late night snack because he didn't have dinner. And then Mel fucking jumping him in the bushes, beating him like a fucking ape.
Well, Mel's coming off of the rage of his dead 18-year-old girlfriend. Let's hope.
Maybe 17-year-old.
That's another like so gross. And obviously you don't see him beating up a child. That would not be okay. It's just him, fists and rage.
Yeah, he starts out slapping him just like some couple of backhands, but then all of a sudden just starts fucking wailing on him with both fists. And then he walks over to the arching range, and then he, with another classic line of, "It's you!"
I just really love it so much. And he gets a great arrow through the neck.
Yeah. Likes the little callback to Friday the 13th.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Kevin Bacon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
then,
Kevin
like,
Bacon.
they also had an archery scene, I think, where somebody gets shot.
Yeah.
And, but then Ronnie's hot on the fucking case and realizes, you know what? Some people are fucking missing. And some strange shit's afoot. We're calling the cops. The cops show up. They decide to round up all the kids.
Fakest mustache I've ever seen.
Fun fact: the cop, between shooting his two scenes, it was in between jobs. So he had shot part of this scene. He went to go film something else, and he came back to shoot this scene. He didn't have his mustache on.
Oh, so that's what happened?
They had to, which is weird because, like, you have an effects department. Like, you have a practical effects department. Like,
and you guys have been doing well.
Yeah, you've been doing really, really well. Yeah.
But they got to the mustache and they were like, we can't afford it.
We ran out money.
We ran out.
Yeah. So then they decide to round up everybody. They start doing a head count. And then we run over to Paul and Angela and they're just like, let's go for a swim. Like, we don't got our swim clothes on. Angela's like, let's go naked.
Yeah. And of course, Paul's like, hell yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I was ever excited to get that naked, like, as a little kid. Like,
no. Yeah, no, I definitely
No.
wasn't. It took me well into my adult life where I was even comfortable. I'd be like, turn the lights off.
No, Ming sees my butt every day. I make sure.
Oh, well, you guys are in it for the long run.
Yeah, I make
You make
sure.
Make sure every morning you're like, here it is.
Boom. But you know what? Laughs every time.
Good. I would hope so.
So the cops and Ronnie come across Ricky, who might have been dead. He was originally written to have died by the furious hand of Mel, but they rewrote it so he'd survive.
I'm so happy. I would have been really bummed if he actually did die. Because for first watch, I was like, wow, they're really going to take out Ricky, but they don't.
Yeah, it could have gone either way. I mean,
yeah. It would have been a bummer, but I'm glad that they kept him alive.
Like, he's the only person that dies by, because he kind of didn't deserve it. Yeah, that fake
No, he
mustache.
didn't. Like, he truly was on Angela's side the whole time.
Yeah, they come across Mel's body. Camp counselors are crying. Oh, this is it right here. Ronnie and one of the other camp counselors, the one that slapped Judy, are looking for Ricky and Paul, and they hear something, a little bit of humming. And you could. Do you want to give us this one?
What, for our wonderful
final
ending here?
scene.
The final scene. So they go over down to the lake and see our lovely Angela, petting the decapitated Paul. I don't know, maybe you want to take this because the end of it is just Angela standing up and is revealing that they are a man, or at least they have a penis, and that it was Peter, the boy. So in the beginning, dad died, sister died, and then the crazy fucking aunt is the one that basically made Peter into Angela, or gave the name Angela, and made them live as a girl.
So fucking weird. So
Right.
fucking bonkers.
So fucking bonkers. And you do get the scene with the crazy mom, Dr. Martha or whatever, explaining to Peter, you're gonna be a little girl now. I've always wanted a little girl. I already have my little boy Ricky. It is so unhinged.
So fucking bonkers. The only reason I could say this might have worked on Peter, because you see his head bandaged up and maybe has some brain damage, maybe doesn't really understand what happened. Yeah. Also, you don't really know if they're twins or not.
Correct.
Peter and Angela.
They could have only been a couple years apart, if that.
Yeah. So coming from a horrible accident, you lost your family, and being no, you're not Peter, you're Angela now. You know,
Yeah.
like maybe it plays out. It's a little bit more convincing. But like, yeah, cause yeah, so fucked up. On basically forces Peter to become a girl. So this is why Angela's not really a trans character because they don't choose to be trans. They are forced to be trans.
They're forced, right?
Which is yeah.
No, what were you gonna say?
It's fucking loaded. It's fucking crazy. It's
fucking loaded.
Yeah.
And it makes you go back, and if you do another watch and you kind of like have that in your mind when you're like the complex is like this character and the frustration where you're like, well, do they want to be with Paul? Like, and then the final kill is Paul, and you're like, it's wild.
Which is weird because like, yeah, now Angela has completely gone full serial killer now.
Yeah.
And now she's just murdering everybody. Oh, I guess, yeah, she's murdering Paul because Paul chose Judy over her to some degree. And Angela doesn't like to be...
Yeah, you could argue that.
Yeah, Angela didn't really want to be betrayed, and like she opened up to Paul. And if this was her first crush, maybe first love, that shit hits hard, you know? So convinces Paul to go swimming with her, viciously murders and decapitates him with that fucking knife that Mozart had, which is weird because you still don't know how she figured out that was there. But whatever. Maybe Ricky told her it was there and she went to go get it.
Perhaps. And I actually have a question I want to raise to you. Do you think Ricky knew?
See, I was a bit. I've been thinking about that. I've been like over the last few days. I'm just like theories and like, did Ricky know? Like, what if Ricky know? Would he be so oblivious to like essentially they've grown up over the last 8 years.
Right.
What do you left Angela like knowing that it's your cousin, female cousin, leaving her alone?
Your mother's telling you this is your female cousin Angela.
Yeah, because Ricky wasn't home yet. Ricky was on his way home, and then it would have been greeted by Angela, and but I guess maybe because never would have met their cousin before. But also, if they're twins, like
you think that they would, and it's also like raises that question where it's like Ricky endlessly defends her, and you're thinking, yeah, family, but it's also like, but did he know? Like, it was I don't know. We don't know.
Well, defends her because of your family, or. Yeah, I see what you mean. Or defends her because he knows, like, Angela's secretly a boy the entire time. Yeah, I mean, I kind of do like the open-endedness of, like, ambiguity of the flashback scene with Peter and Angela, and, like, kind of like that. Did Ricky know? Maybe. I don't know. Like, I would like to have thought, like, which also, like, I would have liked to think, like, maybe he did know. Because, like, how can you live 8 years with somebody and, like, not figure out, like,
and not be
guess
close.
What? Angela's kind of really strong, you know? Like, hey, isn't it weird that, like, at like 15, Angela shot up to be, like, 6'3"? Like, and this fucking has, like, what happens when Angela...
I like to think he did know. I like to think that if you were basically being raised with your cousin to be kind of your sibling after this tragic accident, I feel like you'd know. I feel like there was conversations.
Like, yeah, like, what happens when Angela, like, hits puberty in next year and starts fucking growing facial hair and has to shave and, like, has, like, a 5 o'clock shadow? Because as we know, like, men of New York of this age fucking grew up real fucking fast and had hairy chests at fucking 15. Like, what the fuck? Like,
And, like, and going back to, like, us talking about how, like, we don't really feel like this movie is being homophobic. And I stand by that because, like, I thought about, like, even though at the end when it's revealed that, like, okay, yeah, like, they're more so shocked because, like, she's murdering. And they're like, oh, what? Like, this is what's happening. Like, the murder's going on in this camp. Like, I think about, remember Ace Ventura, the first one?
what about it?
Like, you know, the ending where it's revealed that the woman is a trans woman, like, used to be the football player. And once that's revealed, they're all, like, disgusted by it. Like, they're all like, I can't believe I kissed her. Blech! Like, things like that.
Yeah.
And I think about like that is so cringe. Like, even though I love Ace Ventura and I like Jim Carrey, I think it's a very funny movie. There is that cringiness to the end of that movie where you're like, well, that's really fucked up. Like, to react like that to a trans person. And in this one, it's like, I feel like, again, it's just like, well, we're reacting because she's a fucking murderer. And you're like, oh, okay. And then there's like a whole other thing.
It's, and it's fucking gnarly. Like you said, like being those camp counselors and walking onto that fucking, and this is why the movies has such a cult following, because of this fucking bonkers ending. They find Angela, she does this fucking vicious snarl and this horrific face as she stands up naked in like some sort of primal state, carrying fucking Paul's head and a fucking bloody knife. Like, what the fuck? Was she murdering like people like this like the entire time? Like, see, this is why I think she like disassociates when she kills. She's like this animalistic fucking thing for survival that's killing for Angela,
correct,
as opposed to
is
opposed to
schizophrenia at that point. It's no longer dissociation. You're full on schizophrenic at that point.
So I mean, that's just my theory. I mean, people have their theory. People have all sorts of things. Like,
I know, but I feel like we both kind of agree on this one. It's just like, okay, like I read around the theories, but I don't think this movie meant it in any sort of like negative way.
Yeah, like you said, like if you were trying to be homophobic, you'd kind of make fun of those homophobic tropes, right? Like, but we didn't get any of that.
No.
So good on you, Robert Kiltzik, for
again, ahead of his time. You nailed it on that. Like, Guy was ahead of his time.
You don't know if he was being like I said, I haven't found any interviews with him like and his intention. Like, maybe he was, and you just like missed the fucking nail, and then all of a sudden you have this cult fucking classic. Like, fun fact, he didn't make a movie up until he made Return to Sleepaway Camp in 2008. He became a fucking lawyer afterwards, and then just lived his life happily with his family and whatnot.
You know what? I kind of like stories like that, because when you've dipped your toes into like the entertainment industry in Hollywood and you kind of see what goes on, I get it. I fully get people being like, you know what? Never mind.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
You're like, you know what? Actually, I had a dream. Not this anymore. Like, lawyer, money. Like,
fuck NA. You know, like, I don't want to have to.
You know what this fucking town needs? The Hollywood needs fucking lawyers. Everyone always needs a lawyer. You
know, or if not, learn how to read a contract for sure. That too,
but the entertainment lawyers, man, they make fucking money.
So that was Sleepaway Camp 1983. I don't think I have any more fun facts or anything like that, other than like the sequels go completely off the rails. They follow the adventures of Angela, her just murdering everybody, and how she becomes a very kind of weird, conservative camp counselor, and just basically like anybody breaking any sort of horror trope is murdered immediately. Yeah, brutal. There's some cool stuff in part 2.
Okay.
As far as like,
I'm definitely going to check them out.
Yeah.
On my own time.
And but like I said, nothing is like accidentally nuanced as fucking Sleepaway Camp, the original. I want to say accidental because I don't know if it was intentional at all.
You know what? We don't know. We don't. But I really do give this one. I do like an 8. Like, I put it like an 8. I know we're like it's kind of middle of the road, but I liked it so much. I'm doing an 8 out of 10.
No, I think it's
maybe a 9.
You know, like, it's even rewatching it now, like, not fucking bothered by it. Like, still super fucking watchable, super fun. Yeah, I want to say 7.5 out of 10 blowing dead dogs, you know? Like,
blowing dead dog dicks.
Fucking A.
Eat shit and live, Bill.
And with that said, yeah, have a wonderful summer and eat shit and live.
Eat shit and live.
Bye, guys.